March 25th, 1865. On March 25th, 1865, Union troops begin their siege of Mobile, Alabama. Eventually, April 12th, 3 days after Robert E. Lee surrenders at the Appomattox Courthouse, after the main Confederate Army surrenders, Mobile, Alabama is going to surrender. But that siege begins March 25th, and actually it starts out terribly. There's like a big explosion at the Union Depot. And I don't know if people died or not, but there was friendly fire? And what the fuck? Friendly fire should never fucking happen, motherfucking shit. You went out into the field, and you accidentally shot each other? Motherfuck. We should have just kept training about how to not shoot each other. Yeah, we want to go after those folks. Not each other, those people. With the Ukraine war, it'd be the Russians. We'd be going after the Russians. Didn't Pat Tillman die by friendly fire? So that sucks. Now what the hell are we even doing with this damn Civil War? It's the Second American Revolution. I'll tell you what Lincoln said at the Gettysburg Address. This is what he said the Civil War was about. 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty, dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we're engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. Can we do a republic? Are we able to do this republic, constitution, 3 branches of government, Bill of Rights thing? Or we are met on a great battlefield of that war. We come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those here who gave their lives that the nation might live. It's altogether fitting and proper that we should do this, but in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we can't consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but if we can never forget what they did here, it is for us the living rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they here gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth. So he's talking about being devoted and, consecrated and being loyal essentially to America and to our ideals. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, freedom, the right to be able to govern our own selves, the consent of the governed to have elections, to vote for our representatives. And so he's saying, by and for the people. That's the government. The government of the people, by the people, for the people. Shall not perish from this earth. So we're getting a new birth of freedom, but it's basically we're doubling down on what the hell we had started out doing. We're dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. We're fighting for a republic. We're fighting for a Bill of Rights. We're fighting for a lawful society. One of the last conversations Lincoln had said to, I guess, U.S. Grant, the stenographer, somebody was there, but he had said about the Confederacy, basically, this is the last throes. They're about to conquer them. And he says, ultimately, I want the Confederacy to abide by our laws, to adhere to the Union, to join the Union, to be with the Union, and to submit to its laws. Our laws, its laws. That's the goal. That's the goal. So I love that he's fighting for the Union, but as a military measure, maybe he was anti-slavery, just talking out of both ends of his mouth, talking about the Union. He orchestrated this perfectly. The Civil War, the World War II, and the American Revolution are absolutely splendid little wars. They are splendid when you think about the gains that had happened in only 4 years. The War on Terror has been going on for 20 fucking years. The War on Terror has been going on for 20 fucking years. What have we gained from it? We're losing a lot of treasure, a lot of money. I guess we're maintaining our military dominance around the world. Maybe, I don't know. Are we just fighting for corporations to open up a Starbucks and McDonald's? Because I don't really drink Starbucks in China. What's going on over there?